So today is Sunday, March the 23rd. We're videotaping from the grounds at Elaine's Edibles, LLC of Byron, Mississippi. A couple of weeks ago, we went over to our favorite store for collecting our plants, Sutherland's in Flowood, Mississippi. Collected several different varieties of plants, and the last plants that we have to pot today are going to be our specialty plants, some different varieties of some well-known plants that we use. Just thought they were interesting and wanted to do a separate video on these plants and potting them. So let's talk about the plants that we have to pot. These are the plants that we have left from where we collected a couple of weeks ago. We have two different varieties of lavender plants. We got this Munstead lavender, and we also have this Hyde Coat lavender. So we're gonna see what those two lavenders look like and how they grow out, and see what kind of uses can we make with those. We are a plant-based agriculture business, and we do utilize the plants for health and healing. They may be produced in food items or arts and craft projects, or they may be produced into cosmetology type products. So these are the two different varieties, and then we have just a basic standard lavender that we've already potted. I'll show you some video of that in a minute. But this is our basic two lavender plants. So this is the new bed of lavender plants that we planted, and they're just regular lavender. Didn't have any sub-classification. Again, on the background you see the pots that we've got to dump out the dirt, get them washed up, and we have some fresh potting soil to put in there, as well as covering it with the rubber mulch. So that'll be the first step to clean out the pots. So next up is our oregano. So everybody's familiar with the Greek oregano. That was just one that we have. And then we ran across a couple of different varieties of oregano. We have this other one, is called a variegated oregano. And it just has some little white stripes in the leaves, and we'll see what kind of flavor profile this variety has. And then our last oregano is one called Hot and Spicy. So we'll see what difference that makes for my spice-loving friends. I ended up getting two of the hot and spicy oregano plants. So where I thought I had four, these two will be planted in the same pot. Our next variety that we have is thyme. This is just general thyme. It doesn't say any particular sub-classification of thyme. So it's just a regular thyme plant. So we'll see how that goes. But we did find a different variety, and this one is called the Hi-Ho Silver variety of thyme. I've seen a lot of different products that you can use, cleaning products from around the house that you can use with the thyme plant, as well as some, we'll try it with some culinary dishes and see how that goes as well. Okay, so our final specialty plant is going to be some different varieties of rosemary. This one is called ARP, A-R-P. So we'll see what that looks like and what kind of flavor profile it has, and what uses we can find for this particular rosemary. Then we have this rosemary here. It's called Gold Dust. This is a very beautiful plant. It has more of a lime green kind of color to it, and the ends of the plant have these little striations on it. It's like a dark green in the middle, and then lime green on the outer edges. And we have this rosemary here. It's called Tuscan Blue. It looks pretty on the flowers, so we'll see what that looks like when it grows out. And we have this last one that unfortunately the tag broke off, so I have to get back with you the name of this particular rosemary. So basically we went out around the garden and found some pots that we had from last year, and we're gonna take those pots. You'll see they're filled with dirt right now, and then we're gonna just take and empty the dirt out of those pots and wash the pots up and get ready to plant these specialty plants in there. So for these pots, we're just going to take off the top layer of rubber mulch, and then we'll throw the dirt into a container that I have for the extra dirt. And we can reuse this dirt. We'll just bump up the nutrition in it by mixing it in with some fresh dirt. So we have emptied out all of the dirt and separated the top mulch that we can reuse the mulch, and we'll also reuse the dirt later on. We're going to start out by just using the water hose to just wash out the residual dirt that's in there, and then we're going to add just some mild dishwashing liquid in there to wash them out and clean it out, so we make sure that we have some bacteria-free pots to plant our new subspecialty plants into. So we have all those preliminary dirt rinsed out of the pots, and now we're just going to wash and dry them out. Make sure that we're not introducing any bacteria into our new potted plants. So we have our staging table out, so we don't have to bend down so to get to the plants, and we have going to wash them out with the dishwashing soap and get them rinsed up and ready to plant. So we have them washed out now. We're just going to give them a good little rinse. Now they've been rinsed out, they're nice and clean. We're just going to flip them over, let some of the water drain out from the top. And then we're going to repeat the process with the remaining two. I just want to note that those two being a self-watering pots, those trays, I just disconnected them to make sure that we got all of the dirt out from inside of the pot and the dirt that had collected in the bottom of the tray. We also have those last 4 remaining pots to wash, but it will be the same thing as what we just did with these pots. So we're going to take this, one of these pots that we cleaned out earlier, and we're going to just mix up some dirt in this pot to be able to take it over to our staging table. So to pot these plants, we're going to use a mixture of Stay Green potting mix plus fertilizer, so you don't need to add anything to it. We're going to add in some peat moss to help with drainage and water retention. And we're also going to add in some rubber mulch to aid in water retention. Now, I normally like to take the peat moss and the potting mix and mix those two together, and then put it as a mixture in the plant, so that you have that water retention and drainage going throughout the entire pot. Now I'm going to layer it, so we put a little potting mix in there, and then we're going to add into it some of the peat moss. There we go. And then we'll just give that a little mix. Add in a little more of our potting soil. Just kind of mix it as you go. And just alternating the peat moss, potting mix. So you're going to have nice soil that drains very well, and also soil that will maintain the water moisture. And you see a few little leaves get in there, and that's okay, because those are going to decompose over time and become part of like a compost for the plant. So we're just going to keep making us some dirt to use to pot our plants with. We're going to mix as we go. See how the dirt just kind of rolls through your fingers? If you do that, it doesn't make a ball, so that lets you know that you have good soil that's gonna drain properly. Now, if you took the soil and you did that and it made it into a ball, then you're not gonna need to add something to that soil to amend it so that water will drain through the soil properly. If water doesn't drain through the soil, it can sit there in the dirt and be right along the roots and cause you to get root rot on your plants. So you just have to be careful with your watering. Plants don't like too much water, and they don't like to not have enough water. And what I would suggest that you do is each plant that you have, that you check the potting directions on it to see what their watering needs are. But this is just going to be our mixed up dirt that we'll use to pot into our plants. So now we got a good little mixture there. Now we'll take this over to our staging table and start potting some plants.